All right, welcome back to Sci Fi Case Project Part 22. So in this tutorial, we're basically going to finish up this little grip thing handle here. And yeah, I basically did this in between tutorials. And so I'm going to kind of share how to do this by using a current piece of geometry here. So I'm going to move, actually I'm going to freeze transforms. I don't think let me freeze transforms on this. And I'll just kind of move it out of the way. Just to have as a guide over here. And I'm going to use this piece of geometry here, and I'm going to duplicate it and bring it down here. So I'm just going to hit Control D. So again, this whole thing is about repurposing geometry. And right now, as I bring it down, you can see it fits pretty good with the inserts there. Might need to adjust slightly, but actually it looks pretty good there. Doesn't really need to adjust much at all. So at this point, I might, I'll freeze transforms here. So that's kind of like the end point there. And I'm going to then bring it out here, and I'm going to start to remove like the top piece of geometry here, because that's what needs to go away basically. So I could delete half of it and mirror it. That would be a good starting point probably. But yeah, I guess I could do that. Let's go ahead and delete this half. And then on this part here, we'll kind of focus on, let's delete these top faces here, and we'll go ahead and get rid of all those guys. And then we've got, and let's hit number 1, and then we got these guys here. So I'm gonna just, let's see, hit Q, click, I guess I can't, yeah, it's not a ring. Let's just delete those guys. Delete, delete, delete. So I'm just leaving these extra faces that we don't need here. Trying to separate. And one more. Let's see. Sometimes it's kind of hard. You have to kind of rotate around to find the right angle and stuff. There we go. Now I can delete this guy, whole piece here. And then all I got to do here is sort of seal the top here. So I could... let's see. Probably an easier way is to delete the top pieces on here too, and fix some of the geometry. Let's see. You can see it's kind of pushing downwards. So I'm going to delete that. Double click. Delete that. And again, I could have redone this whole piece of geometry, but it's just a little faster, a little easier to just double click on that and scale this down. Hit W, kind of pull it down a little bit, and then double click around this edge loop, and you can see it goes all the way around. So I have to deselect this, so just hit Control drag across and Control drag that guy. And so with this part down, just go ahead and scale it kind of flat. And so now that looks pretty good. Now I got to basically I have to bridge, so I have to bridge across. So I'm going to select this piece and this piece. Now what I want to probably do is bridge with the amount of divisions in here, but I can always do it after too. So I'll show you how to do that after, so in case you forget. But I'm just going to hit bridge. But right here you could add some divisions. So you can see here I got the 3 there, and that would work just fine. And then I have the corner here, which would be a 4th one on each side. So actually I think I'll just leave these 3 here. We'll do that. And then let's go ahead and select here and here, and we'll do a bridge again with 3 divisions. And then here, or actually let me undo that for a sec, because what you can do is you can select all 3 of these and then select all 3 of these and do a bridge. That way they're all sort of connected, and then add some divisions that way. That way I didn't have to remerge those areas. Then I just have to deal with these smaller areas here. So you can see here that this line doesn't quite line up these two. So I'm just going to double click on this one, hold Shift key, double click on that one, hit R, and kind of scale them out so they're a little bit closer to alignment. They don't have to be exact, but yeah, something like that looks good. Now I can select this edge, and then bridge. And then select this one, hit the G key. Again, G repeats any action. And on this one, again, we're going to need another edge loop that goes along here. So what I'm going to do is double click on my insert edge loop tool, make sure I have relative distance selected. And I'm going to add an edge loop right here, right there, and right there. And I could have, centered it and scaled it out, had a little more precision, but that's pretty close. And again, select this edge, and do a bridge. And then this one, hit G. And now I have two quads. So I've got 4 sides and 4 sides, so I can do fill hole. And hit the G key on that and hit fill hole. So now we've kind of completed that box. So that looks good. Now what I'm going to do is reduce some of the resolution here, because I don't need all this stuff in here. I'm going to get rid of this edge loop for right now just by hitting Control Delete. At the bottom here, there's a bunch of extra edge loops, so I'm going to double click on that one, hit Control Delete. I'll add another one here later on, but for right now I'm just going to delete it just so it's a little easier to add some more. Yeah, I'm going to delete that guy, and actually I'm going to delete these side guys too. So, or no, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and double click on that one and double click on that one and hit Control Delete, because that doesn't affect the main circle, because I want to reshape this essentially. If you look at this one, it's kind of got like a different kind of shape. So what I want to start to do here is I'm going to grab this edge loop. And actually, I could even I could get rid of this guy and even this guy. We don't need those right now. Just to keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to select this edge. I'm going to scale those out, make them a little bit, more circular, kind of like that. And then I'm going to select these edges, these two and these two, and scale those in a little bit. So you get a little more rounded quality kind of deal here. And maybe these two are a little bit far out now, so scale them back in a little bit. Yeah, maybe these guys just kind of scale them in a tad bit more. So it's personal preference at this point, but just trying to get something a little more rounded, and that looks pretty good. I hit number 3. Yeah, it's a little better. Now, to add these divisions along here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an edge loop right here, just close to the edge here. And then I'm going to add some divisions across here. So if I double click on this and set this to multiple edge loops and set it to say like 5, we can look at it and kind of see what's going on there. I'm thinking it's going to need probably double that, maybe 10. Let's see. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. And then what I can now do is select every other one. So as I go into face mode, let me see how this would look if I select every other one. And then that one would be open, and the next one be open. So I have an open spot there. So I kind of want to avoid that. So actually, let me undo this for a second. Sometimes it's easier to see if you have it already mirrored across. So I'm actually going to mirror this object real quick in this mode. So I'm going to hit W, and you can see the pivot's still centered, but not centered along here. So it would mirror across. So let's go ahead and do Mesh Mirror. Go to the options. We want Object Z and Z minus because it's the positive, and hit Apply. And you can see now it's merged and everything. And so now what I'm going to do is, let's see. I will double click on Insert Edge Loop tool. Let's do 10 on this side, 10 on this side. And now I could select every other one kind of deal and just go across. Before I do that though, what I want to do is go to another view. I want to kind of go to my side view here. Here's a little trick. If you hold down the space bar, you get the main hotkey. And if you left click inside the middle here, you can go to these different views. And I just want to go to left view, and then I'm going to hit number 4 to go into wireframe mode. And you can see here I'm in wireframe. So now I can just kind of drag across these. If I'm in faces, it's just real easy to select these faces. I kind of want to hold the shift key and just drag down and select these top ones, every other one. And it's just real easy to do it in this view here. Yeah, those ortho views are really nice for this kind of thing, just to make your selection process real easy. It looks like you got that guy, and if I grab too many, again, I can just hold the shift key and drag across, or control drag, and that looks okay. It looks like I missed off a little bit, but I'm okay with that. It's okay to have a little bit of interesting change here. Again, hold down spacebar and then left click, and then I can go to perspective view just by moving my little widget there. Now I'm back in the perspective, hit number 5. So if I want to make this absolutely perfect, I should have picked an odd number. So instead of 10, picked 9, for example, on each, and that would have worked out better. But that's okay. I'm okay with this. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just make sure everything's selected properly. It looks like it is. And then I'm going to hit Control E to extrude. And what I want to do is adjust this thickness, and you can control drag to kind of slow it down a little bit. And it's still a little picky right here. And you can type in a value in here, like negative 0.05 or something like that. But what sometimes it's a little easier to go to the attribute editor, and in here is the same number here. It's the thickness here. And so if I want a value of negative 0.01, you can see there it looks a little better. It's more what I want, but it's not exactly. So basically I just have to kind of dial in different numbers and see. 5 is going to be lower, so maybe I want like 0.0, I don't know, 0 and then 5, and you can see it's getting closer. Maybe let's add a 3, and that's probably about the thickness I need. Something like that is 0.03003 negative. And if I hit number 3, you can kind of see the preview of it. Right, it looks pretty good. So if I go into object mode here, click down, object mode, there we go. I click off. It looks pretty similar. The only thing is it doesn't have quite the firmness. You can see in the front here, it's getting kind of rubbery. So I can add an edge loop to kind of maybe firm that up. Or in this case, I could mess with this and extrude this piece out, this front piece here. But I think I'm just going to add a couple edge loops here. Just one here. Whoops, I forgot I still had multiple edge loops selected. Double click on that, go to relative, and drag one, move it over here. Drag one, move over there. And then at the bottom here, or on the back here, yeah, I got one on the back still. So on the bottom, I kind of want to just bring down one here, tighten up that little area there, and click out, go to object mode. Let's hit number 3 now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I still could see this part getting extruded out further. So to fix this, let's see, we could, what would be the easiest way to do this? Yeah, I'm gonna go to my side view here. So again, hold down spacebar, left click, go to left view, and hit number 4. And or actually, I could have got on my right view. It's over here. So if you do this and go to right view, you can see it flips it. And so what I'm gonna do is hit number 4 here. And I'm going to go to vertex, and I basically want to just drag across right in between here. You can see these guys right here. Hit W and kind of just pull them out a little bit to about the same thickness as these guys. So that will kind of give me basically a similar effect. Then I just have to kind of scale in the whole thing to, and you can see it's still kind of lined up with the sides here. So let me go to object mode here and kind of move it back a little bit. Actually, it looks okay right there. It lines up pretty good. So again, hold spacebar, left click, and then go to perspective mode, and then hit number 5. Now, if we hit number 3, that looks pretty good. Any issues? It's a little tighter than the other one because it has extra edge loops. So I could go back to 1. I could get rid of this edge loop now. Double click on that one, hit Control Delete, and then it'll be pretty close, same on each side. That one's a little further away, so I could double click on this guy and do a edge slide, just slide it out a little bit, because I want this to be a little bit rounded, right? So hit number 3. That looks good. You know, thickness isn't exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Again, if I wanted to, I could finesse it just a little bit further and kind of bring that back in. Again, go to my channel box, and all I gotta do now is zero these out. There we go. We got it all set up. We got it lined up. This looks pretty good. Now, if these tips were a little bit, we want to be a little bit narrower, we could scale them in a little bit. It does look like I need to shift this over just a tad. There we go. Something like that. All right, we're going to end this tutorial at this point. In the next tutorial, we'll kind of wrap things up through the mirroring process. And that should do it. All right, see you soon. Cheers. Bye.